After 6 years of living in rural southern Maryland, ladies and gents, in the USA, here are 5 things that the US does better than the Europeans. Now, obviously, if you didn't watch the previous video, it is a follow-up to that because there's a lot of the US now being discovered by Europeans and other parts of the world who are traveling over for the World Cup and are absolutely loving discovering America at its heart. Because there's a lot of comments on the previous video that was saying, you know, we are not our politicians, we're not what you see on the media, we are very much different, and I can agree. Number 1, customer service. Now, I know it can be over the top, but every time you go into a restaurant, every time you go into a shop, you are greeted, you are said hello to. At a restaurant, you will have free refills. That is just standard. They'll come over whenever they see that your cups are empty. There's like an over-enthusiasm about it, but understandably, that is because some people do work for their tips, as tips are a big part of the US economy from a service standpoint, hospitality. Number 2, a lot of people are discovering this, but it is also their national parks, the sheer volume, the sheer number of them and size of them. And I recently did a video where I described parts of North Wales in Eryri National Park to Shenandoah, and that is because they used to share the same mountain range back when Pangaea, the supercontinent, was about. I mean, just take Yosemite, for example, and Yellowstone, you know, Grand Canyon. These are all massive national parks, and they do it so well. They're basically like massive tourist attraction, and they're purposely sort of designed and built for it. Visitor centers, you know, there's documentaries surrounding them. They're like mini holidays within the US in themselves. Now, don't get me wrong, we have those here in the UK and in Europe as well, but I think they do them slightly better in the US. Now, this one was probably one of my favorites. As I was living there, I realized it more and more, and that was convenience. Your drive-throughs, you drive through pharmacies, you drive through banks, drive through liquor stores in certain parts. And the list just goes on and on. Convenience is paramount in the US. Most retail stores are open late here in the UK and in Europe, parts of Europe. They close early, like Monday to Friday, and even on weekends. Like, that was one of my favorite things, was going to the grocery stores late on a Sunday to do a food shop, because I knew there would be no one there. Whereas most food shops in the UK on a Sunday close at 4 p.m. Touch upon this one briefly, and that is the optimism and ambition of the US people in general. I've sort of tried to bring that back with me when I came back to Wales. And in fact, I do miss American people in general. Like, I miss my black American friends, like, I'm not gonna lie. Got my military rugby team that I had in the rural town that I was in at the gym. I'd always be friendly, always be chatting away. And the optimism on life was just slightly different to what it is here in the UK, probably because you have to work a lot harder, I think, in the US to become successful. And lastly, this ties in nicely, and that is the friendliness of strangers, believe it or not. I think when I lived there, I think it was different because obviously they knew that I had an accent and they knew that I wasn't from there. So I was more of a novelty, but also after that, you do become sort of like, people want to know you, people want to chat, and are very curious about life outside the US. And I was able to bridge that. So yeah, there are 5 things that are different and that the US does better, in my opinion, than Europe. Don't worry, Europeans, there are things that we do better here than the Americans.